Welcome back, guys, to the Wet Shaving Podcast Roundtable, Wet Shavers Roundtable Podcast.
Wow, you just totally blew that.
I know, I totally messed it up. This is the one and only Wet Shaving Talk Show, and it is awesome. Today we have a very special guest. We have Mark Herro, Mantic 59. Thank you, Mantic, for being on with us today, sir.
My pleasure.
And
Yes, it's great to have you, Mantic.
Yes, and as always, we have our favorite security guard from Jerry Springer. We have Marty Pape.
Hi, guys. Yeah, I'm Steve.
We also have the one and only, and this time our world traveling, I guess, or not really world traveling, but just traveling wet shaver down under, Con Kazazidis. How are you doing today, sir?
Hello, folks. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good whatever you are.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
And he's in an undisclosed location at the moment for no reason. And we also have our favorite captain, the one and only Douglas Smythe.
Here I come to save the day. That means that Mighty Mouse is
Good to be here.
And as always, I am Rico from Rico's Corner. You never know what's going to happen. And you can tweet to us at WS Roundtable to be a part of the conversation. And if you guys wouldn't mind, if you're on Twitter, you can also tweet out wetshavingtv.xyz. And that is a pre-populated...
No, don't tweet out. Go there.
Go there.
Rico. This is
You
a web.
explain it.
Go to this domain, wetshavingtv.xyz. This will take you to a pre-populated tweet, folks, and it'll aid us getting the word out that you are, in fact, watching your favorite wet shaving television show.
Yeah, hold that up one more time. Douglas, hold that page up one more time. Wetshaving.xyz. Wetshavingtv.xyz. I can't read. And pre-populated tweet.
Yeah, just hit
So-
send, folks.
It will be awesome. So, real quick, a lot of people out there may or may not know our guest. I'm sure most of you guys do, but I like to get the people out there a little more familiarized with our guest. So, Mantic, I've just got a few quick questions for you,
Sure.
if you wouldn't mind. First thing, I normally like to end the questions with like a kind of oddball, off-the-wall question that's kind of, but I figure I'm going to hit you up front with it. So, because a lot of people watch you, that's how they get into wet shaving. Are you the Godfather of Wet Shaving?
I don't think so. I think I just happened to be in the right spot at the right time with the right equipment. It was a happy coincidence.
Yeah. So, I know you've talked about this before on another awesome podcast called Mustache and Blade, but I'm sure a lot of guys haven't heard. How did you get started into wet shaving?
Well, actually, I shaved with a electric razor for 30 years and never really thought about it much. It's what my father used, and I ended up using his old razor and just kept on using electric razors. But in the 90s, I met a very nice young lady who is now my wife.
All right.
And I adored the feeling of a freshly shaved face, just using her hand on a freshly shaved face. And she liked it, but my face would get, in her words, all sandpapery again in a fairly short time. Well, we got married, and then a year or so after we had gotten married, we were watching television and saw a show about things to do in Las Vegas, and we had gotten married in Las Vegas. And one of the things this show showed was a shave, an old-fashioned barber shave by The Art of Shaving, which I had never heard of. And my wife said, "Oh, you need to try that next time we go to Las Vegas." And I just kind of shrugged my shoulders and said, "Fine," went about my business. Well, the next year we went back to Las Vegas for our wedding anniversary, and one morning she came to me and said, don't shave today, I've got a present for you. Well, she took me down to Art of Shaving, and they gave me an old-fashioned barber shave, and that was the end of it right there. It was life-changing. It was completely, my face was just completely soft and smooth in a way I'd never seen before, and I knew it was something I had to investigate more, and that's what got everything started. So when I say I want to buy something for wet shaving, my wife says fine, because there's nothing she can do because she started me on it.
Well, wow. So kind of a follow-up from a viewer out there, Jeff Atkinson. He says, is it safe to say that wet shaving is the reason you landed your wife?
No, actually, that was before. I hope my personality may had a little bit to do with it. Or maybe I'm just the only one that she will put up with. I don't know. But
you left out the best part, Mark. Wasn't there like a mommy like it or mommy likey or something like that?
Yeah, after the that's true. After the shave at Art of Shaving, she caressed my face and said, "Ooh, mama likes."
yeah, that always sticks with me. I was
That's
actually
awesome.
thinking about you today at the gym, Mark. I walked in on this guy shaving with an electric razor, and I was like, okay. This is foreshadowing from Mark's story because I know Rico's going to pick his brain about it. I almost stopped the guy. I was like, hey, you need to go check out the show tonight, but live and let live.
Well, real quick before I jump into the rest of these questions, I have noticed our favorite guy with a mouth, the Truth Gonzalez, is here. David, welcome to the show, sir.
Crashed us.
Yeah, it's been a very hectic couple days. Coming back from an event with my wife and son, and we're in the car. I don't know, you guys can probably see the scenery outside, and of course with the great Mantic on, there's no way I could miss today's episode, so I had to jump on, man.
Yeah,
Well,
you
we're
like
glad you're
photobombed him.
Yeah, sorry about that. So, Mantic, just a couple more questions for you. What would you say is the most important aspect of wet shaving?
The most important aspect of wet shaving, I think it's time. Make the time to do it properly. Make the time to enjoy the scent of a shaving lather. Make the time to make a nice warm lather so it feels good. Take a little extra time with the actual shaving process to get a smoother, more comfortable shave. It all rolls back to time for me. And you don't even have to make a whole lot of extra time. You just need to decide that you're not going to spend a minute and a half swiping a multi-blade razor across your face with some goo from a can and get out to your day.
Yeah.
Just spend a little time for yourself, and it'll all come together.
So, kind of in line with that question, I know a lot of your videos are really, really helpful for guys that are just getting into the hobby. You're also a blogger. You have sharpologist.com where you review products and talk about all kinds of aspects of wet shaving. And you even touch on stuff that's not just wet shaving. It's kind of stuff that's, I guess, the guys that are still doing the regular kind of cartridge stuff, I guess. But so a guy that's just getting into wet shaving, what would be, I guess, a number one tip you would give them, and what would you tell them to get first? What would be the first thing? A brush, razor, certain kind of razor, soap?
I think for me, I generally suggest people start concentrating on making a really nice, pleasant lather, and learning proper technique with that lather and with shaving. And then when you feel comfortable with it, when you're making a good, nice lather that feels good and smells good, then if you want, I think most people will just realize that they don't need the 27-blade razor that vibrates, that they can actually get a really good shave with just a few basic things. And if you want the immediate go out and grab it kind of stuff, I could almost recommend something like this.
Yeah.
Vanderhagen. It's available in a ton of different places. The soap is, especially their new premium soap, I think is actually pretty good. I think it's a good, solid soap, and even their basic soap isn't bad. But the new premium soap is I think very competitive with a lot of the better artisan products. By coincidence, and I'll have more of this on Sharpologist probably next month, I actually went and visited Vanderhagen a few weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
They're here in Texas. They're a day trip away, so I actually got down there and took a bunch of pictures inside their warehouse and how they make their soaps. Their ingredients come in 55-gallon drums, and they they make just an outrageous amount of soap at one time. It's like 30,000 pucks at once. And
wow.
Their shipping is just insane. Their boxes everywhere, and they get semi-trucks in bound for Walgreens, Walmart, all these different places. You know, they're available darn near everywhere. They're ubiquitous, and you know, for a beginner wanting to start out something right now, to be able to go down to Target or to Walgreens or Walmart and actually pick it up, it's not bad. You know, the set is $25, and I think it's something to start with.
Yeah, and I have to say, I started with that Vanderhagen twist open razor, and it's actually not a bad razor. It's mild, but it's really not bad for the cost, and that's actually the razor my wife still uses to this day. So it's a cheap, great way to get into the hobby. And so last question for you that I will ask, at least for now, is things have changed for you. You're now doing Sharpologist and Mantic 59 full time.
Yep.
So when you got into the hobby, and I don't know, tell me again, how long ago was that?
Well, I did my first YouTube video in 2006.
Okay, so yeah, that's almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years.
So from when you got in to now, has your perspective on wet shaving changed, and what about it has changed?
My personal perspective hasn't really changed. I'm in it for, I don't want to say the pleasure, but maybe that is the right word, the pleasure of myself and my wife. It's something I enjoy. It is something that has some variety to it. You can do things as your mood swings. And I think it's really changed, particularly in the past 3 to 5 years, for the better, in that there are a lot more people getting into traditional wet shaving than there used to be. When I first got into it, there was two little forums. One was on MSN forums, which is no longer around. The other was on the Yahoo forums, which is no longer around. But the Yahoo forum one actually turned into Straight Razor Place. So that's been around for some time. But the interest and exposure and the industry, if you will, has grown quite a bit in the past few years, and I think that's partly due to maybe the large razor manufacturers continuing the razor blade wars and coming out with something more and more ridiculous for more and more money, and people are just finally throwing up their hands and say, enough, there's got to be something better.
Yeah, exactly. Well, again, Mark, I just want to say thank you for being on the show. We really appreciate you being here.
My pleasure.
And this is now the part, guys. No, thank you again. This is now the part, guys, where we talk about and highlight products that we're kind of digging this week at the moment. Seems like if you're kind of in the hobby like we are, stuff's changing almost every day for us because there's just so much stuff out there to try. So we'll start with you, Mark. A couple things, few things you would like to highlight that you're.
I'm excited
really
about Mark's.
Yeah.
Well, as a matter of fact, my Rube Goldberg setup here
Nice. I'm digging.
I have
And guys, so you guys
cameras.
know out there, Mark was the genius that found this out. I didn't know you could do this, but apparently you can toggle between 2 cameras. So what you're looking at is his, I guess, B-roll camera right
My
now.
second
So
camera, right?
yeah.
And a couple things. It's no secret that the Mercure Progress is my favorite razor.
Yeah.
Has been for
great razor.
years and years and years. I love it to death. I've tried a gazillion other razors, and I keep on coming back to the Progress. A few months ago, I decided to plunk down some money for the Eskimo Progress. You can get it Bull Goose, pardon me. And this is basically a Progress that's been retrofitted with a new handle. Beautiful.
Oh wow.
Black onyx. Actually, I think they call it blue onyx. It looks more black to me, but just a pretty razor that I've been really enjoying up until about a week ago. And about a week ago, I got.
Here we go. This is what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Bam.
One of the one blades. And
Nice.
let me tell you, this is one hell of a razor. It is also a very expensive razor, but it really has impressed the living hell out of me on its performance, on its how well it's built, everything about it. It comes in this nice little tanned leather box. And when you open it up
that's
here,
a beautiful
you get
box.
a nice little instruction book, instruction things, and then you get the razor itself. I'll
Dun
pull it
dun
out here
dun.
because it actually comes in its own little stand, like
Wow.
this. You can actually,
Is that stand solid?
that sand is solid. It is a solid
Wow.
stainless steel stand that just sits like that. And this is a single blade razor that uses blades from the old Valet Autostrop. And it slides
Wow.
in the back like this. Easy peasy, nice and easy, ready to go. And this blade is a single blade, but also has a pivot. Now, if anybody...
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
That is... People have always asked me if I like modern razors, and I tell people I don't like the multi-blade cartridges, but I think actually a pivot is one of the few good ideas of the modern razor.
I agree.
Mark, I'm sorry, I do have a question in terms of that. You don't have to put too much pressure down on the razor in order to really get the effect of the pivot, because that's something I was kind of concerned with when I seen that.
You do not have to put a whole lot of pressure down. You need perhaps a tiny bit more pressure compared to a double edge, but the pivot action is actually pretty good.
What is causing that, Mark? It's not very clear. Is it a spring?
I honestly don't know.
You can't
there
see
must
it.
be some kind of spring. It's a spring action, but the spring is not obvious. If you look
that makes the engineering even more impressive. You know, just it doesn't look all ugly and springs everywhere. It's just really clean looking design. That's nice.
Really nice. Really nice.
Yeah.
My only concern is the blades and the availability.
I'll go through that in a minute. I was curious in that whether a gem razor, a gem blade might work, and it's the size, but this back spine will not go into the blade. If there's a way to take off this back spline, it might. But anyway, removing a blade, just simply raising up and pulling it out a little bit, putting it back in. And I've been using this razor now for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and it is rapidly becoming the razor that will knock off my Progress from its throne.
Unbelievable.
Wow, look at that.
Something
You
else.
heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. Now, the big downside to this razor is the cost. This is a
Yes.
$300 razor. The one blade
Damn.
people make no bones about that they are targeting the luxury niche end. They've
Yeah.
spent several years in development of this with venture capital. They did not go out to an Indiegogo or a Kickstarter. This is
Yeah.
pure venture capital, and they are getting ready for their hard launch probably in a week or so. It's in a soft launch right now, and that you can go to onebladeshave.com and order it. And when you do, of course, they will send blades with you, and they prefer
Okay.
to do a subscription for the blades. Although you can get them in other places, they are Feather brand.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
They are feathers.
And do you know what other vendors will be holding those kind of blades, or do you have to go through Feather directly?
Razor Blades and More did carry them. They are currently out of stock,
Okay.
but that is the one place I know that has them in the inventory.
Oh, I
What
gotta
are they
talk to
called?
him. Dave Mendoza. I gotta talk to that guy then.
What are they called?
Well, that's a good question. I've always just seen them as the Feather single blade.
Oh,
And
wow.
they're obviously not.
I wonder if Tri-Blade has them.
Worth checking.
Oz Dave. He's pretty easy to access on Facebook, and he actually lives like about 30 minutes away from me. So I'll talk to him about it. See if he has any details on those blades.
I will say that
So,
the subscription is something that they suggest, you can pause it or cancel it at any time, from what I'm being told.
okay.
Also, I don't know if I'd call it a downside or not, but the blade life is not as good as a DE. I can get maybe 3 shaves out of this. One blade actually suggests a new blade for every shave. I can get 3 blades pretty reasonably, but that's about the life.
And how much would be the cost for the blades? What would you say per blade cost would be?
I would say roughly $1.
That's not life changing, but it's significantly more than the double edge.
Yes.
Yeah.
So these are auto strop blades, though.
They are valet.
Mark?
My understanding is that these were blades that could fit into the valet auto strop.
So then they have stropping in mind then when they put these out, right? So
no, they do not.
They don't. Oh, okay.
No.
They're just modeled after those razors, probably.
It's simply the blade that they researched. They went through many blades. I actually sat down with the CEO, who is also in Texas near Austin. So it was another day trip for me. I sat down with him and we talked about this for a half a day, and they went through many blade variations. They at one time looked at for example, the feather single blades that go into Chevettes, and they decided that still was not for them. They were a little bit wider than they wanted, and so they continued looking and eventually settled on this particular blade.
Cool. So, yeah, man, that is a beautiful razor. So
it's gorgeous. It's relatively heavy, but really well balanced.
And where can people find more, Mark?
Right now, it's available at oneshaveblade.com. O-N-E shave blade. Wait a minute. Let me try that again. Onebladeshave.com. ONEBLADE shave.com.
Excellent, thank you.
What I know you've tried the mongoose, and what's another one you've tried?
I've got the Cobra Classic. I've got the King Cobra. I've tried all these razors.
So, beside the blade itself being wider on those, because all those use the Shavette style, right? The King Cobra and the mongoose.
Yes.
What would you say, and besides the pivot, what is the big difference between those versus the one razor that you're liking a lot?
Wow. The pivot is the big one. The balance
Okay.
is excellent. Not to say these aren't well balanced, but I find the one blade is better balanced.
Okay.
The shave the blade is just really smooth. Usually, like the first shave or two with the feather Chevette blade are, for me, kind of harsh, kind of aggressive, and then they calm down for the following shaves, unless maybe I cork them, and they're maybe a little better. Consistently, the one blade just seems to be really smooth, really comfortable. It just basically wipes away the stubble with no muss, no fuss. It just, like I said, really impressed the heck out of me using it for the past couple of weeks.
Wow.
Very cool.
Well, that is way super cool and a very beautiful razor. If you guys are, and this will probably be after the fact, listening to this, you can go back on YouTube and watch it if you want to see specifically what Mark is talking about. Really beautiful razor, and thanks, man. Thanks for sharing that with us. So real quick, I'll just kind of touch on a couple items, and then I'm going to go down the panel here. I'm kind of going way old school. Actually, first, let me do a shout out to my sister. She went to India for her friend's wedding, which is a crazy long trip just to go to a wedding. But she sent me, and at first I thought this was Kopi Luwak, the civet coffee.
Looks more like Pepe Le Pew from this end.
But this is Monsoon Malabar coffee, and apparently they're so proud of these, what do they call them, Ratufa indica, which is the largest squirrel in the world, that they put it on the front package of this coffee. Anyway, the coffee's really good, so I just want to give a shout out to my sister for sending me this awesome coffee, which I brewed today Turkish style, and it's stout stuff. Anyway, gear. So, and Mark, we can talk about this later, but you were talking about an old vintage brush. This is a new one that Douglas is making, the Crown King, and it's got, I didn't bring the other one, but you can replace the, I guess the head, the brush, with a different brush, and just kind of that old school. I don't know if you guys can see that very well. And I'm really, really digging this brush. Synthetic, really great stuff. And then as far as product, I'm kind of going old school. This is stuff I got when I first started wet shaving because I was concerned about irritation and stuff. And this was one of the products a lot of guys kept referring back to, was Crampert's Finest. And it doesn't really smell pleasant. It doesn't smell bad, but it's super menthol. And if you're not used to menthol, this will freeze your face off. And I love it. The other one is Baxter of California Aftershave Balm. This kind of has a light lime, just a real refreshing lime mentholated scent, and I'm digging this one. Still kind of hot out there, guys, if you're in the U.S. or that kind of region of the world, and menthol is your friend this time of year. And then, real quick, the V-Long horsehair brush. I am loving this brush. It is totally different than Badger. It's kind of a combination, I would say, of Badger and Boar a little bit. But you gotta maintain these just a little better. You gotta kind of comb them after they dry and make sure they're not all tangled up. But I love this brush, and they've got some major funk to them when you first use them. So you gotta use it a few times to get rid of it. But I love this horsehair brush. It's awesome. And then finally, we can just kind of chat about this. I wanted to know your guys' thoughts on this, but I'm not really highlighting it because I haven't used it yet. But this is an old school travel razor, and I just like I don't understand the logic here. Like, I get it for travel, and you want light and small, but that handle is just ridiculous. I don't know.
But it's beautiful. It's ridiculous, but beautiful.
It is ridiculous, but beautiful. So, David, we'll hop on over to you. What product would you like to highlight this week, sir?
This week, as I announced last week, I was using
David?
now I'm in my room. I finally
This
got
boy's
into my room,
boudoir.
and I'm in the grotto. Like right now, I'm just finally relaxing, dude. I'm worn out. It's hot as hell. I was on the sun, so let me have my moment, Douglas. Damn you.
I'm sorry, lo siento.
But no, as I mentioned last week, I shaved all week long with the Wolfman razor, and just kind of giving my final thoughts on it. I'll probably shave with it one more time before I ship it out, probably Monday.
Yeah.
And just generally, I'm really impressed with those razors. They're very well built, just solid. The way the blade locks in for me, it's very similar to the mongoose. It's just once it's locked, once the blade gets tightened into with the cap and everything, it's just solid, no movement, no chatter, nothing. It's really nicely put together. I'm really impressed with the head design from the Wolfman razors.
Cool.
Is the Wolfman in production, or is it still just in limited quantities?
They haven't been able to build up an inventory. It's pretty much very similar to like the mongoose. They're making some, then shipping out to people on the waiting list, but they haven't been able to keep up with the demand as of yet. So if you get one, you either have to have been on the waiting list for a couple months, or you get one like on a buy-sell trade group. I borrowed mine from a buddy of mine, a fellow YouTuber named Eric Burgos. He goes by Shaving with Uncle W, and we go back and forth talking on YouTube and stuff. And he sent it, so I've been doing videos with those. So yeah, he's cool people. He has some great stuff. So yeah, that's how I have it. I've been lucky enough to be able to have a connect here and there to be able to try some interesting things.
Cool.
So quick question for you, David. I know you're liking it. Once it becomes available, would you buy it?
If I had the money available, absolutely. I still, again, I have now about 7 shaves with it now. I think I like the above the tie razor R2 plate a little bit better because it's just a tad bit more aggressive than the one I'm using. I wish I could remember which model I'm using, but if you check on my YouTube channel, it has the model on there. But the R2 is just a tad bit more aggressive, not a whole lot, but just it kind of hits my aggressive level perfectly, the above the tie razor. So I want to buy that one first before I would get the Wolfman. But the Wolfman is fantastic, and it's definitely daily driver worthy because it's a very smooth, efficient shaver, and I've gotten 0 irritation using it.
Wow. You have any other stuff you want to highlight, or?
No, I'm good. I'm really pretty sweet with these ones.
All right, man. Thanks, man. Marty, jump on over to you, sir.
All right. Before I start, real quick, Gonzo just messaged me, said he wished he could be involved today, but he's driving, so he just said hello.
Didn't stop David.
Okay.
Damn right.
Excuse me. So everybody that's been watching my channel and kind of been keeping up knows that I'm just getting back into straight razor shaving. I tried before, didn't really succeed with it, and now I think I'm on day 17 or something like that in a row. Yeah. And I've been picking up razors because I figured out real quick I'm starting to like it and have the technique a lot better. So I got in a couple this week. Haven't used this one yet from Mike McKinley. It's a Joseph and Rogers wedge. Haven't used yet. Blade needs a little work, but it's honed up, ready to go, so I'm going to use that. Bone scales, so something kind of cool there. I got a Tory 0146. Nice little deal there. And then the today's shave, and it's a life changer. It was a game-changing shave is what I called it because it's the first time I've had a straight razor shave where the first pass with the grain, I could have been done. I felt that smooth with one pass. I did 2 passes with one tiny little touch-up right here on my chin strap spot, and it was baby butt smooth even on my neck basically, and that's never happened before. And that is a Japanese Tawa that I got from, I got the name here, Stefan, probably going to butcher it, Stoyanov. I think he's out of Iowa if I remember correctly. And this thing, it's a frame back. I don't know if you can see that or not through there. Yeah. So it's just kind of a really cool. It's got some nice weight to it. He put a killer edge on it, and it just was a natural shave. There was no, I get a weird transition around my middle part of my neck where the hair changes growth pattern. Normally with the straight, it'll kind of, not tug, but it'll give me more resistance on that. It just cut through it like butter. My chin, against the grain. Normally it's a fight because it's real coarse there, and it just sliced it perfectly. And so, yeah, this Japanese razor is just it won my heart in one shave. I'll just put it that way.
Wow. That's a beautiful
Yeah,
razor,
I've been
man.
hearing great things about Japanese razors. I haven't been able to use a Japanese yet, but I hear nothing but good things about them.
Yeah, so it's just, like I said, it's just a fantastic little deal, and yeah, I'm so happy I got it.
It's not a Japanese Kamasori razor. It's a Western style razor. But...
Yeah, it's called a frame back.
Huh. Okay.
Real?
Yeah, is it one piece or is that?
Sorry, it's breaking up.
Is it one solid piece?
I don't know the full dynamic of it, but it looks like the blade itself is actually pinched in the spine.
Okay, yeah, that's what it looks like.
So that's the way it appears to be. So.
Wow, cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
Real quick, I have another question for you, Mark. I know your first shave, you got a straight razor shave at the Art of Shaving. Do you continue to use a straight razor?
I prefer a double edge, or now the one blade. I have done straight razors. In fact, by coincidence, I think late September, early October, I'm going to be doing a series of videos and articles on Sharpologist about straight razors.
Fantastic.
I'm getting a little bit better at it, but I'm by no stretch of the imagination an expert at straight razors. I've got a few really nice straight razors and a few just okay ones, and I've come up actually with a way to do training wheels, if you will, for somebody beginning to try straight razors. But I'm just frankly not that good at it right now.
Yeah. Look, I want to jump.
What is the training wheels, Mark?
You gotta read Sharpologist to find out, fool.
Yeah. Let me see if I still have.
No, because this could be like this goes with my open comb concept. I think the guard.
You want to jump back to that in a second?
Get back to me.
Go off camera for just a minute, and I'll show you.
Okay. Yeah. Let me.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah.
Yes, Rico will miss you, Mark. Rico, I'm sure will be sad every second you're gone.
I'm going to jump to Douglas on what gear he's using, and I actually want to jump back with Mark in a while. Something Marty touched on about he was talking about parts on his neck. I know Mark did a great article on Sharpologist about irritation on your neck and mapping your grain. So I kind of want to touch on that. I think that might be some helpful info for guys out there. But Douglas, what stuff would you like to highlight this week? And well, I gotta say, your shirt is very confusing. That is not soccer.
What are you talking about?
That is not soccer.
Depends what country you're from. It depends what country you're in, man. Soccer and football change all the time. Anyways.
Yeah.
So I just had a thought while Mark was talking about this razor, this one blade razor, is I wonder if they're in cahoots with feather blades, since that's the only blade they're going to be using. I wonder if feather is all. Mark, do you know if feather has any horse in the game with the one blade? If they're backing them at all?
No, they are not backing them.
They're not. Okay.
No.
Okay.
They're just subcontracted to do the blades, then, right?
Yes.
Okay,
well,
interesting.
That's the blade they are using.
Yeah.
So that blade was already in existence before the one blade came out?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh.
I'm assuming guys were using just old vintage auto strops or something then, right?
I would assume so. From what
I've never seen guys using them, but
from what I understand from the One Blade CEO, actually for feather, those particular blades, they do not consider a razor blade. They consider it some other kind of blade.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredibly odd.
Maybe surgical or something.
Too, actually.
Yeah.
Interesting. So what do you got, Mark?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a typical straight razor, and my training wheels literally are a couple of these plain paper office clips. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
wow.
pretty damn good. That's pretty fucking good.
And then you rest it on the side, and it gives you pretty much the correct angle you need
I love it.
for going with a straight shave. It does not work well with every single direction, with every single nook and cranny,
Yeah.
but for the beginner, which I'm targeting, for doing
Yep.
that straight down initial pass, it's a training wheels.
Perfect.
That's
It's
what
brilliant.
I call
It's
them.
brilliant.
That is awesome.
These things are available, damn near anywhere.
Yeah.
Walmart, Walgreens, office supply stores, they come in different sizes. So if you have maybe an 8/8 razor or a 4/8 razor, you might need a different size. So it may take a little bit of experimentation, but that's what I will be talking about on my beginner's wet shaving series that I'm working on right now for my YouTube channel and Sharpologist.
And don't worry, next week it'll be available on PAA with the PAA logo and decal on those clips. I guarantee it.
Okay.
Well,
I'm going to call it the Mantic.
you saw it here first.
Yeah.
And to my knowledge, I haven't seen anybody else try this. And it may not work for a lot of people, but it seems to work for me and the couple people that I've kind of guinea pigged it on. It's a way to build up that muscle memory of the correct angle for a straight razor.
Sure. Mark, looking at that, it gave me an idea actually. Do you know those little what are they, for pencils? So like little kids learn how to hold pencils correctly. They're like triangular little rubber things that you slide over a pencil.
I know what you're talking
You don't know
about.
what I'm talking about? I wonder if you cut a slit in that, if you slid that on, it would cover more surface area of that, but it's also rubber, so it would protect the blade itself too. But next time you're at Staples looking for those clips, ask them for the pencil guard things too, and they'll know what you're talking about. But that might work in the same, because they're triangular. They're triangular as well. That might work just as well, if not just as well.
We do have
excellent. Okay.
Real quick, I just want to say
have
we have a guy, Stephen Davidson's just saying that is an awesome idea, Mark. So applaud you on that. That is really cool. All right, Douglas.
Yeah.
Oh man, what is it? Oh,
it's a Milord. It's a Milord. It's one of my new vintage razors. It's actually in excellent condition. I've been using this all week. It doesn't have a date code on it, so I believe it's somewhere. It's between like 1946 and 1950.
Yeah.
But it's just really beautiful, and it's gold, coated in gold.
How is
so I've been
it
using that in
how is it
combination
compared to the red tip? As far as aggressiveness,
it's not as good as the red tip. It's very similar to an adjustable aristocrat in my experience. I don't care for it too much, but I don't really care for one-piece razors anyways. That I like a three-piece.
Yeah.
But it's just too clunky, the head, and it's really just difficult on the neck for me. I don't. But again, I've only used it for a week. I'm sure if I would shed with it for a little while, I would definitely fall in love with it. And who knows, I may end up doing that after this week. But we'll see where that goes. But what I've been using for soap is Tiki Surf's Up, only because it's the end of summer now. Well, also because it's an excellent soap, but end of summer. And this also reminds me of like old school copper tone and like baby oil. It's very beachy. So classic summer scent, Surf's Up. I'm doing that, and I've been chasing that with. I've been like really digging or trying to find alternatives to Clubman, pinata Clubmans.
Yep.
And so just alternatives. And what I found is Booster. Have you tried these? Booster Moosewood?
Moosewood.
This is made in Canada. Made in Canada. It's very similar to Clubman in scent. It's it's a classic barbershop scent, very talky, citrusy. It's very close to Clubman. And it's probably like $10, $12 a bottle. And then there is Coachman.
Oh wow.
Which is also very similar to Clubman, and this is also like probably $9. And this is so similar that there's a disclaimer on it about Clubman is a registered trademark of American International Industries. So like this one is like spot on.
Wow.
So these are just some alternatives to Clubman, some cheap alternatives. And I also got, Con was very nice to send me some Canadian soap. I haven't heard of this one before. I really can't get it to work that well, though. But it's good. It smells great. I mean, it put a lot
is
of...
Is that Italian Vegemite?
I think it's Italian, but it came from Australia. It says on the back, anyways. But yeah, I mean, once I dial this in, I mean, I've been loading it like I hate it.
That's right. You suck it up.
That was
So that. Oh, I wanted to. Now we're heading over to Britain. What we have here is, I just wanted to give a little tip out to some folks that drink tea. For those of you who drink tea or your significant other drinks tea, look for this in the cupboard, because once the tea is gone, it makes a perfect blade bank.
That is awesome.
Yes. I picked this up at World Market. If there's a World Market near you, find it there. If not, this is called English Breakfast. Oh, what is this called?
And
I don't know the name of this tea. It's telephone tea.
Yeah, I feel like guys that are what is that show? I should know this because like I am a nerd in this way. But
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. I feel like somebody could pimp that out too and make it Doctor Who-ish somehow too.
I'm sure. Honestly, I'm sure the same company makes this in Asia, and it is painting it blue for the police box. So so that's pretty much what I got going on this week. But I also want to remind people that there is a giveaway happening today, folks.
And what two giveaways, right?
Well, yeah, it's like a prize package. You can win Crown King Sacre Bleu aftershave / cologne, Sacre Bleu shaving soap, and this is a tribute to Aquavelva, by the way.
I have a problem with the packaging being pink and it's after Aquavelva blue. It just doesn't sit well with me.
Oh man.
It's funny, dude, because it's purple, man. It's purple.
That shit looks pink.
Yeah, 9 out of 10 men I think are colorblind. Also,
the shirt I have on right now is purple.
What color was it when
it looks
you
like baby blue. Yeah. Also, second prize package is a Long Rider Suave brush with Helios blades and a Merkur Futur, or as Marty has. Marty actually has the one that's going out. But yeah, so people,
nice.
You are qualified to win these if you are participating in the Twitter feed and on YouTube. So keep those questions coming, and we will randomly choose 2 winners after the show.
And you can tweet us.
I'm sorry. Okay. So...
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say you could tweet us at WS Roundtable, and we will get your questions or comments there. Or if you're on YouTube and you're just watching it straight on YouTube, there should be a link somewhere on the page that says to be a part of the conversation. Click that. It'll open up another screen, and you will be into the Q&A section where you can ask us questions there. And Douglas, go on.
Well, now I'd like to send it over to Con.
Con.
What do you got, Con?
Okay, well, because I'm traveling at the moment, I've decided to bring along some travel razors, and so I wasn't just going to bring them along. I was going to bring them along and see and put them through their paces and see how they work. So I've got a couple of these little fellas here, which are the Merkur travel kits, and I also have one from Phoenix. But I'll just show you. I've put these razors together. This is the Merkur that comes in this particular.
The handle's cool.
Yeah.
Almost looks telescopic.
Yeah, and then there's this little guy here. Incidentally, the heads on these are identical, so there's no issue there. And of course, I have the Phoenix, which is really, really cool. This happens to be the longest of, and you can actually shorten it for buff. If you want to buff around the mustache area or whatever. Very, very good. The other thing, of course, is I brought along my synthetic brush. This is a Samogue, or an Amiga, I should say, Sintetico. I don't know if you can see that.
Nice.
Sintetico. It's the 643174. and it's no longer available. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, they've discontinued
From Omega?
this.
Gee, what a surprise.
What a surprise, exactly. Oh, Omega puts out a brush and then discontinues it the next week,
Yeah, why do they do that?
I don't know, but I like this one because it's got, and you can see why I called it a Samogue. It's kind of got that very nice acrylic, very groovy sort of retro-y feel about it. But this thing dries very, very quickly, as you would expect from a synthetic. I don't go anywhere without my tobacco travel stick. I think this is standard issue for me. I know it polarizes people. Get over it. And of course, the other just some aluminum that you can twist to open and use. And that's basically my little kit. But of course, I have to say, and I've just shown you 4 razors. But for some inexplicable reason, I also brought along my above the tie S1. You see, I do have a mental will. I do have a mental will.
That is a problem.
Is that Peter Chicalis?
Yeah.
No, you're well prepared.
Yeah.
Well, that's
justification, Marty.
We're rationalizing this, I know. I may be well prepared. I'm probably well prepared for the asylum.
More than well prepared.
Yeah, I've heard guys bringing lots of soap. I have not heard of guys bringing multiple razors, but
Oh, Peter does that too. Peter had like 6 razors when he was over here in California.
Hey,
why is David so loud?
Yes,
Yeah.
David. Real quick,
So loud.
I think if you can move your mic
back away from the mic.
We're getting like weird distortion, but you're good.
Can I just say?
There's something wrong with the radar, sir. There's something wrong with the radar.
Can I just say, gentlemen and viewers, there's one thing about the PAA travel kit, and I'm finding that if you're on the wrong side of, let's say, the age of 35, I won't be disclosing how old I am, then this also comes in handy.
Yes, that is very handy.
For trimming bits and pieces. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I should have I should have put a mirror in there as well, because I can't see my back. I mean, it's that'll be the upgrade.
I see that Mark is nodding as if he knows what I'm talking about.
Let's just say that I think it's next week sometime I'm doing an article on Sharpologist about body grooming razors, where I kind of talk about the ears and the nose and the places hair is just really supposed to grow. But Con, actually, I do have a question for you, Con. You took those 4 razors with you. Where did you go? Did you go by vehicle? Did you go by air? How did you travel?
I traveled by air, and so you can put them in your. I can't bring them on the aircraft with me, obviously. I just pack them away.
Pack them. Yeah.
But what I'm doing is I'm actually, because I'm going to be doing a review sometime in the future, probably in the next 15 or 16 years, I wanted to put these razors through their paces and really test. So really, for convenience sake, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's not very convenient bringing 5 razors with you, but that's not the point. The point is I want to test these things in situ. Actually, it's on the spot. Let's see how these things perform.
Sure.
And some perform better than others. And for me, I think the determining factor is balance of the razor. I mean, these heads, as I said, are almost identical. But it's about, we've spoken about this before, about the fulcrum and how this razor balances. And some of them, to me, feel a little inadequate. And perhaps, I mean, I want to get as best a shave as I can when I'm traveling. And I don't know that some of these handles really do the razor, the head itself, justice.
Yep, I totally agree. And I noticed, Mark, on Sharpologist, you actually have an article on, it's titled, it's a video actually, I guess, how I shave when I travel. So if you guys haven't checked that out, go to sharpologist.com to check that out, because it's a good one. Or his YouTube channel. So yeah, really great stuff. Yeah, as you were saying, that's kind of going back to this razor. That's why I don't understand. There is no fulcrum balance to this at all. I know it's a super mild razor, but I don't get it. I don't get it. But I do have to say, when I traveled, I used the Agent, PAA's the Agent, which is, I believe, the same exact handle that's on the Flight, but it's got a different head. And it's got great balance.
Yeah.
It's a little aggressive, but I like
Interestingly enough, that's been my daily driver for a long time as well. I love that handle, whether I'm traveling or not. But yeah, so I mean, if you do like those short handles, the Agent is a 4-piece razor, so you can actually take it apart and make the handle even shorter too. Because some people do dig those, Rico.
Yeah.
I know, Mark, recently on your travel video, you were using, I don't know what that was, Mark, that little, like, it looked like I don't know. What was that small?
It's called the Cormia razor. It basically it takes a track 2 razor cartridge, but
Right.
not much more than the cartridge.
Yeah. So I mean, if weight is an issue, if you're out in the woods and whatnot, and like weight is an issue or space is an issue, and you need a clean shave, that could be the right way to go. Or using the razor you have in your hand right now, Rico. You may not like it. There may be a little bit of a learning curve, but yeah. I mean, that's the only thing I can see.
Yeah.
So what's up with questions?
So we have several guys.
Oh, Con, I'm sorry. Con, was there more? Did you have soap or something?
No, that's it. But there are some gentlemen asking questions that we obviously can't answer because we're moving along. We'll try and include these in the edited version of this video.
Yeah.
And so you can go off and have a look at what it is that we've been talking about. Well, to the best of our ability, that is.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep those questions coming along. There are, well, in excess of 50 questions here.
Yeah.
And some of them have already been answered, and so I don't know that we can get to all of them.
Well, I've got a quick question here for Marty, I guess, and or any of you guys, actually, if you would know. On that frame back, somebody was just asking how does it hone?
That I don't know. The only thing I know is they said that excuse me, my throat still, is that part of it, the reason it was it makes it so you don't get the spine wear potential issues by the way the frame back's designed. So I'm assuming it removes, but I personally don't know. I know a couple other guys might be able to answer that, but I have no idea.
Yeah. Okay.
You'll hone that the same way as you'd hone any other razor.
Okay.
Again, if the frame back is still going to be made out of metal, so you still have to worry about hone wear. But if it's in good shape, that's not something you'd really have to worry about for like a decade or something. But just if you ever do want to save any spine on any razor, just one layer of electrical tape is pretty much enough you'd probably need, as long as you're not going too hard on the razor.
Yeah. I'm not a straight razor shaver yet. I do have a friend over down under in Australia who is sending me a very nice blade, which I will be trying. So shout out to Paul if you're watching. And but yeah, I do love the look of that razor. It's really, really cool. Con, we got stuff going on down in Twitter.
Yeah, we certainly do. But as I say, a lot of these questions have already been answered. I'd like to just say a few things, if I can, about Mark Mantic, who has dedicated a large part of his time to putting out very, very valuable content. I know that I was and still am one of his one of his fans and always enjoy his content. But one thing that a lot of people don't realize is the amount of time and effort that Mark puts into his videos. We've had private conversations behind the scenes where he's asked about the technology and what it is that we backwards and forwards. And so I think that a lot of people that enjoy your content, Mark, also don't know that there is, I won't say that you agonize over these things, but you actually put in many hours, into putting this stuff together. I mean, you and I have spoken about, all sorts of color grading programs and what cameras we use and the rest of it. For somebody that wants to produce content on YouTube and Vimeo or wherever they want to produce it, are there some very, very basic things that they can go to without, busting the budget?
Yeah. Yes, actually, I think there are. The technology has come quite a ways since I started making videos, but I think maybe the best camera to use is something you may have already, in that if you've got an iPhone or a reasonably good Android phone that has a decent camera attached to it, and most of them do now, they make very passable cameras for making videos. I think where you have to be the most careful then is your lighting. If you're in a bathroom, the odds are you'll probably have good enough lighting, but you may need a little additional extra lighting, and that may just be like getting some clamp lights from your neighborhood Home Depot or something like that. All you have to do is make sure that you put the same type of light in the clamp light as you do in your bathroom. So for example, if you have incandescent lights in your bathroom, make sure you get incandescent lights for the clamp lights, or else you'll end up with what's called different color temperatures, and it'll make things look really funky. Beyond that, basic editing you can actually do online even at YouTube has their own video. There are several free programs you can use. iMovie for Macs, or Windows Movie Maker for Windows. They can get you the basics. Start with that and just learn from there.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree. And also, Mark, I just have to say again, congratulations on taking the step full-time with what you're doing now, doing Sharpologist and Mantic 59 YouTube. That's really awesome. And I also have to say thank you again for being on the show with us.
My pleasure.
I think all of us can attest to being inspired in some way, shape, or form watching your videos. I know you're one of the guys that I came across in the beginning, and the way you did it, like, and there's several guys out there. Geo Fat Boy's a guy, Nick Shaves, some of the bigger guys out there, I guess, and you. But I think the way you explain it is probably the most in-depth and easy to understand for the average guy.
Thank you.
That especially is coming from, just a regular cartridge shaving background, or as you can attest to, an electric razor. We've heard so many horror stories on this show of guys saying, "Man, I used a electric razor and it chewed my face up, and I went to this and I love it." I do want to touch on something, and I'll just go down the panel real quick, and it's just a yes or no. Do you how should I phrase this? Do you guys experience irritation from time to time, or is it a constant issue? Yes or no? I'll say for me, yes, but it's getting better. David?
Occasionally I will. It's not very rarely, actually. Once in a while, just from being sloppy, I'll give myself a bit of a rough shave.
Yeah.
But it really not. I'm really sensitive.
Yeah. Marty?
Yeah, occasionally just on my neck, but not nearly as regular as it used to be.
Yep. Mark?
Yeah, right here. When I'm constantly trying new products, so the times that I'm trying something new, the odds are something's going to happen right there. I will say, though, getting back to the one-blade razor, that is the only razor I've ever tried right off the bat that I did not have irritation on. But typically for me, unless I'm using something very regularly, this is the spot that will always get me.
Yep. Douglas?
Yeah, for very similar reasons. I try so many different things that every now and then I'm going to try a new blade or a new razor, and it's going to give me some either burn or irritation.
Yeah. Con?
Yeah, because traditional wet shaving is about variables, and the variables, products that we use, the blades that we use, the razors that we use, there will always be a learning curve, and so I have definitely gone through periods where I've had a less than perfect shave.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't think I have had a perfect shave. I've had very, very, very good shaves. I think if you feel that you've mastered shaving, then you'll be reminded next time you shave that there's
I don't know
something
why
that
you haven't had
hadn't-
a good shave, Con. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Vegemite. Thanks.
Yeah.
See, Con, it's kind of.
Suck it up.
It reminds me of like the movie The Last Samurai, if you've ever watched it. You know,
Yes.
Yes,
the
absolutely.
cherry blossoms. They weren't perfect till he was dying.
Yeah.
That's right. Absolutely.
that reminds me of E.T. actually.
Oh,
I'm not as
man.
cultured. I'm sorry. That's all I got.
This is getting weird.
Well, what I want to say though, like all that said, is like there really is not a perfect shave all the time. So I mean, like
that's right.
you can get a great shave. I find I get a baby butt smooth shave when I'm not trying to. So there's something zen about that as well. Taking
Yeah.
it back to the cherry blossoms.
Yeah, I've got a vintage Fazan. What do you call it?
The most
Slant.
aggressive razor ever.
No, it's an open comb, and it's a, what do you call them?
Slant.
Slant.
A slant razor.
And I use it with a Wilkinson sword, German blade, and I'm getting awesome shaves every single time I use that combination. Doesn't matter what soap I'm using, I get a great shave. That's the only thing that worries me about the one blade, is because it's just that one blade that you can use right now. There's not a selection. I'm worried that a guy might get it, and that blade in particular might be not work for them. But Mark, I know most of us here, and I'm pretty sure all of us here, are big proponents of mapping the grain of your face. And I know you've talked about that before. I know Khan's talked about that in a couple of videos before. Do you kind of want to highlight that for us real quick, so some of the beginners out there, and even some of the veterans that maybe haven't done it, can get an idea of what it is that you're doing when you map the grain?
Well, that's an interesting subject, actually, because basically the grain is the direction your stubble grows in. For example, generally speaking, my grain goes down this way and up this way. So it's a way for somebody who particularly uses a cartridge razor to follow the grain at first, and then go, maybe across the grain for a slightly closer shave. The idea being to reduce the stubble in stages. Now, having said that, I am actually an advocate when you go to a double-edged razor or a single blade razor. I am an advocate of making a really good lather and then just going straight down. Relathering and going straight down again. The idea is to start building that muscle memory, get acceptable shaves but not great shaves, and then after you've got that muscle memory, then maybe going back a little to the grain aspect. But that's it. I know it's kind of fudging both ways, but that's how I advocate it.
Yeah, exactly. Quick question. We had one guy, going back to that one blade razor, Mark, Jeff Atkinson's asking, where in Texas, I guess, are they located?
Jeff, they're actually based in Austin, South Austin specifically.
Austin, Texas.
And they have a very small crew right now, really just a couple of employees, and the investor is actually based in Maryland.
Cool. Douglas, we've got one here for you, and I wouldn't be surprised if the answer is yes. Douglas, do you plan on introducing more travel products in the future? Alex Gonzalez asks.
Yes.
Simple answer. Okay, this is kind of a funny question, Mark. What are some of the stranger, or I guess different, unique questions that you get on social media? And that is from the Franz.
Wow, the irony.
Yeah. Yeah, the irony in it.
Honestly, I don't get that many strange questions.
Stepping up, Franz.
A lot of basic questions. A lot of have you tried this kind of question, but nothing really way out of left field. Every once in a while, but I don't usually get a whole lot of real crazy messages. Most of them are just asking for help.
Yeah. Do you typically have, is it mostly guys that are getting new to the hobby that are asking you questions?
Yes, very much so.
Okay, cool. Con, let's jump on over to Twitter.
Yeah, we've got a question here. Do we foresee the blades getting cheaper for one blade as demand increases? I mean, these are market forces, of course, as you know, it's economies of scale. If
Yeah.
somebody wants to,
Personally, I don't see it anytime soon, but you never know.
Yeah,
Whose mic is that?
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I see what I'm hoping for that blade, that razor in particular, is if it becomes really popular, that other people will start, like uh, Wilkinson or whoever out there, will start making more options, or even Feather and Kai and stuff like that. They'll just make, like the mild version of the auto strop or aggressive or whatever they want to call it. But I think that would be diversify on the blades would be really neat to see. Let me see what's going on over here.
Real quick, David, is your microphone rubbing up against you? Sounds like a
Okay.
windstorm.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. All right. We have a question here from Steven Davidson, and he's asking, what are your favorite aftershaves that keep you coming back on a regular basis? And we'll start with Mark.
Right now, I really don't have a favorite aftershave. It depends on, for me, the time of year. I generally go for something lighter, but with a nice matte finish, really Tremper Skin Food in the summer.
Yep.
And then in the winter, when I need a lot more moisturizing, I've typically gravitate to Village Barber
Yes.
aftershave balm, but I don't really have a favorite. It's more like a what I need to do.
Yeah. Are you? Nope. No, go for it.
I actually have quite a bit of experience with artisans. They're always they're always sending me stuff. Uh, it's actually getting more and more difficult to find the time to try it all. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something that's really stood out lately. Um, I should say most of the artisans are actually very good. They're very competitive. Performance is usually pretty good. The problem is the artisans kind of come and go. Either the artisan themselves or a particular product, a particular soap or cream scent, for example, they come and go. It's just the nature of the beast. Um, one, I will say one particular artisan product that I really, really like is the William Newman old-fashioned soda shop shave cream. I think that stuff is dynamite. Um,
Wow.
Razor Rock certainly has some good products. Trying to think of some others here that I've been using lately. Uh, it's just it all starts kind of blending together after a while.
Yeah, there's a lot out there. Real quick, I guess, David, question as far as aftershave favorites. Yep. Uh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to say, as far as I know, we kind of had a similar question like about this. I think a couple weeks ago, aftershave or balm, and I know the question is kind of it just depends, and kind of like what you said, Mark. I'm trying so many different products. I think in the summertime, kind of prefer alcohol-based products. A lot of them are like PAA or Fine or Wolfman Company, something like that. Balms for me, for some reason, maybe I just need to go lighter on them, but it's like my skin has a weird reaction to it, so I kind of break out or something. I don't know, but balms aren't always my favorite. I have to find some that are really good. Actually, going back to this, like this one works great, but I'm not a huge balm guy. But Marty, favorite aftershaves or unique ones?
For me,
ones you keep going back to.
It's Foo Fougere by PAA. I know we're all a lot of us saying PAA, but I have a lot of their aftershaves, and that's the one that to me is the most. It just has such a distinct smell. It works with so many different things, and that when I start saying, oh, if I want to start matching that day, I'll start opening my soap tin and I'll go to an aftershave. I'll go back and forth, and I'll pass it over saying I just used that like a couple days ago, and then I come back to it again. I'm like, nope, I'm using it today. So that's one that just really always hits me.
Yeah.
Soap. Soap.
Yeah. Con, I'll ask you real quick. Aftershave. You keep going back.
It would have to be PAA's Alfin.
Yep.
And balm would probably have to be just Nivea balm just works every single time. See, I've got to say that Mark point I makes is that it's not that we're mindful of saying, oh, this is my favorite one, and then people will jump on that or whatever. It's that they really do, after a while, it becomes this nebulous of aftershaves. You don't really... And favorite, the word favorite is actually kind of loaded.
Yes.
My favorite aftershave is the one I used last. Because it was the one that was suited to the season. Okay, during the cooler months, I tend to go for balms and things like that. In the warmer months, I'll use ones that have a bit more of a menthol kick. So it kind of changes, and it's very, very, very difficult to answer a question like, "What is your favorite aftershave?" What are we really asking? Are we talking about post-shave feel? Are we talking about the scent? Are we talking about it's the one that lasts through the day? I mean, there are so many variables. Again, as I said, traditional wet shaving is about variables, and trying to pin down variables to a one-word, slogan or flag or whatever is incredibly difficult and fraught with danger, I have to say.
Yeah, I think my goal personally is trying to make my house smell like a barbershop. That's just my goal. I just want to have so many aftershaves, my house smells like a barbershop.
Yeah.
Douglas, do you have one that you keep going back to? I know you're always trying stuff because you make it.
Burt's Bay rum, I'm guessing.
Burt's Bay rum is... Well, see, this is the thing. Is like, historically, back in the day, 50 years ago, you did have a favorite scent. You did have a favorite aftershave. You had one. It was like brand loyalty back then because there weren't so many options like there are nowadays.
Yeah.
And that's why I say I pity the future children that'll be like, this reminds me of my dad. They're not going to be saying that because we use everything now. But and so my original scent, I was always a sandalwood or a bay rum type of guy going back years. And Burt's Bay rum, though now discontinued, I still stock up on it whenever I see it on eBay. But that's my brand. That's the one thing I'll always go back to. Granted, I use a lot of different aftershaves and colognes, but Burt's Bay rum that is my all-time favorite. After that, I like Alfine as well. If I could make Alfine for the rest of my life, I would. I love that. And then Penhaligon's LP number 9, I think, is also very interesting. And a lot of people confuse that. It doesn't stand for Love Potion number 9. It stands for Long Play. Number 9, because it's the lasting and the staying power of it. Just a little FYI or a little trivia for you. So that's my take on it.
Cool. Con, we got something going on over in Twitter.
Yeah, before we go to Twitter, I guess we keep referring to Eastern philosophies here and Buddhism and Zen, but I think never has this statement, this Buddhist statement, been as true as when we refer to aftershaves, and that is that choice is misery. Now, by that we mean There is so much choice out there
Yes.
that you agonize over choosing one thing over another, and we are all faced with a choice every single morning. Whenever we walk into our bathroom to try and select what we're going to be shaving with the next day, we're confronted with enormous amount of choice. Far more choices than our parents and grandparents would have been faced with. So I guess I understand what choice is misery really means. Having said that, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
What's the sound of one hand shaving, Con?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And if a razor
Shave here now.
falls, if a razor, falls,
falls,
and nobody's around, does it make a sound?
What else we got?
Okay. Yeah, we've got trouble hearing David's voice. That's actually trending. This is trending.
I have
at the moment.
no trouble there. What do we got? Oh, he's back.
I see. We have a question.
Oh gosh.
We have a question.
Here,
we have a Twitter question here.
Yes. Go
Can you
for
punch that high?
Yeah, we have a Twitter question here, and we're going to have to respectfully ask. I think I suspect I know what it means, but where did the handle Mantic 59 come from?
Yes.
Classic.
Okay.
Great question, by the way.
Years ago, before the internet even as long as
Wait a minute.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're talking the 1980s. I was real active on bulletin board networks and CompuServe, for those who remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
And things like that. And I had a screen name that was actually much longer than that name, but everybody in conversation used to just simply shorten that really long name to the word Mantic. And come to find out, the word Mantic is actually a real word. It means somebody who can see into the future, which I thought was kind of cool. But anyway.
It's actually a Greek word, incidentally. It's a Greek word.
Okay. So when it came time to create my first YouTube channel, actually my only YouTube channel, I just naturally requested the word Mantic. Well, somebody already had that channel, or that channel name. So I just simply appended a random number to it, Mantic 59, and it accepted, and that's the name I've been using as screen names ever since, for some reason. Not very interesting story, but that's what it was.
Well, you know what's funny about that, Mark? There's a place in, it's a cool kind of trendy area in Dallas. There's a lot of tiny cool shops and stuff, but they've got a place called Mantiques, which is a man antique store. And I always kind of thought maybe that's where you were going with it, like it had something to do with, I don't know what I was thinking, but
Nope.
But very cool story on that. Con, Twitter, what's happening over there?
Well,
I think we got time for about maybe one more question.
Everyone wants to. There's a couple of people here that want us to raise a toast to traditional wet shaving.
Raise a
That's
toast.
a request. It's more. Yeah, raise a toast to traditional wet shaving.
We'll put Mark here. I'm drinking now water.
You're not going to drink that aftershave, Douglas.
I'm drinking Booster. Salud.
Wow, that's awesome. Mantic, I do have a question for you, sir.
Sure.
You have seen, I'm sure, quite a bit of change in the shaving world since when you got into it. What, if you could project, I know this is kind of a hypothetical and we don't really know. We always, I don't know, it's like something we like to kind of gander about, but what do you see as a trend that's going to happen, or long-term or short-term in the shaving world? Wet shaving world.
A trend, I think the trend toward back to double-edged razors from multi-blades will continue.
Yes.
I think the trend that's just beginning over the past year or so with better shaving creams becoming more mainstream with availability, even though they might be brushless, for example, or actually many of them are brush friendly. For example, Cremo Cream, for example, the caffeinated cream from Pacific Shaving that you're
Yep.
starting to see in more and more mass outlets. I think you're going to see more of that. Probably not getting people into old school wet shaving like we do, but getting away from the razor blade wars and the gook coming from a pressurized can into something a
Yeah.
little more user friendly, a little less expensive, kind of harking back to an earlier time.
Yeah, exactly. We got a quick question here from Rock Dimple. And I'll start with you, Mark. What do you prefer, night or a day shave? Do you have a time preference?
I definitely prefer a day shave.
Alrighty. Con, night, day,
Day shave.
day. Douglas, night, day,
Morning shave.
morning shave. Marty,
Midday after the gym before I head into work.
David, midday, night. All right. I'm a nighttime dude too. I Nice. Yeah. I think for me, it's just I want to be a morning person, but I'm not. So I don't get up that early to do it, and I like to enjoy my shave. I don't want to feel rushed, so I do it when I come home after work. So, great
I'd
question.
agree. If I work days, I would be a nighttime shaver, but I work nights, so I don't have to worry about that rushing.
Yeah. Ed Waters is asking a question here for you, Mantic, and he's asking, do you see the new single edge razors like the One Blade, Mongoose, Razor Rock Hawk, which technically I don't think's out yet? Do you see that capturing a bigger segment of the wet shaving community for single edge razors?
Honestly, I don't right now, simply because of the recognition of double-edged razors. People simply understand them, recognize them, even though they may not have used them. They've seen them on old TV shows or old movies or their grandfathers or whatever. Uh, Personally, I don't see single edges overtaking double edges anytime soon. But anything's
Yeah.
possible.
Do you think that's because of the selection of blades, or?
Yeah, I think it's the familiarity aspect and the availability of different blade brands to find what works best for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Douglas, got one here for you. In one of the previous roundtables, this is from Alex Gonzalez. One of the previous roundtables, Douglas said that the brushes are becoming a popular thing to make. I've seen a few artisans start offering shave cream now. Do you guys think that shaving creams will become the next big thing? I'm assuming, because that's something, I'm assuming he's talking about actual legitimate cream. So I don't know.
I honestly don't think so. I mean, I think a soap puck or a harder soap is well, for me, I think it's the way to go just because it'll last forever.
Yeah.
A cream will tend to, I mean, those do have a shelf life. So I don't see them. I see this year, what I see anyways this year was originally it was aftershaves. It was the year of the aftershaves
Yeah.
and colognes, and now it's morphed into this whole Plaisson style brush
Yes.
thing. So I see that. I don't know if we can fit anything else in this year, but who knows? The way that this it's like dog years when it comes to wet shave. I don't know. Cream,
What were
maybe
you gonna say?
pre-shaves.
Go, David.
I was just going to say that.
Yes. So
We don't have that equipment in our kitchen, David, is what it all comes down to. You know,
Yeah.
everyone has a crock.
we got- quick question, Douglas. I do have a quick question for you, Douglas.
Why don't we mute his mic again? Where is that? Yes, Rico?
Explain to us, I guess, real quickly before we head out, I guess, the difference between kind of the soaps like you make, the creams themselves, legitimate cream, not a croap, but a cream, and triple milled. What's the big differences on those? Oh, come on, don't do that. Hold on a second.
Oh,
Okay. Sorry. Go for
can
it.
you hear me?
Yes.
So it just has to do with
David, please stop. Thank you.
water. Can you hear me?
Yes, we got you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Water content is the biggest thing. So I mean, as you progress from those different soaps, it's just, some of them have more water than others. The triple mill is pressed. You know, all the water and moisture is out of that puck. You know,
Okay.
and then you have a typical puck like mine. It's curing of the. This is why you're curing your soap. It's the water's evaporating that's in it. With creams, you want the water in there. That's what makes it soft and and cream-like. So that's what it has to do with. I get. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. And I just
The whole muting thing threw me off.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And on the cream, you said there's a shelf life compared to like more of a shelf
Well,
life.
yeah, because of the water content, and in fact, a lot of creams you'll see like there'll be preservatives in there and whatnot, which will keep them alive longer. But yeah, there will be, because I mean it's just a balance of water to whatever the raw ingredients are, so that it can go rancid, it can mold. So it's just water, So with some of them with more preservatives than others, you could cure them and let them turn into a hard soap, and they would still function as such.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if it's Martin de Condre. I think I left one of those soaps open one time for a couple days because I'm just so used to leaving soaps open. I leave my soaps open as much as possible, harder soaps anyways. They just get better, they get harder, they last longer. And this goes for any type of hard soap. I just always leave them open. I never relid them. My bathroom's a bloody mess. But when it comes to creams, I learned it the hard way, like because that top layer did start cracking, and it almost looked like there was mold forming on there. And again, it has to do with the water content in there.
And
Mantic?
if I can jump in here, a couple of earlier this year, Colonel Conk came out with a line of shaving cream, and before they came out, they actually asked me to help test the different recipes, I guess is the best word, and what Douglas is really saying really came true with that, because it's a soap. A soap is not nearly as difficult to make as a cream, even for a larger company. Creams, the tiniest little change in one ingredient can make a huge difference in the in the rest of the product. And they shipped me at least 4 different iterations of shaving cream, and the first couple were just, as Douglas might say, bloody awful. They eventually came up with a decent product, but I really respect now and understand a lot better just what goes into trying to make a cream versus an artisan making a soap with the things they have at hand. Making a cream is just a whole nother story.
Yeah. So just kind of a fun question. Last question for everybody in the panel, and I'll start with you, Mark. If you had to choose, not naming brands, but just a style of soap, if you had to choose one, and that was all you got, cream, croap, hard soap, or a triple milled soap, which one would you pick?
Ooh, boy, it'd be
I know
really
there's so many.
Triple milled in a cream. I think I'd have to go with a cream, though. I think I prefer creams more than
Okay. Douglas, if you had to choose, what would you pick?
Well, value, I'd go for a hard soap. So I mean, they just last longer. So that's where I mean, I love Tabac. I think Tabac is wonderful. I think it's one of the best soaps ever invented. But a cream is good too. What I like to do is, traditionally a barber would before they put the hot towel on you, they would lather up your face first with some soap.
Yeah.
And leave the lather on, then throw the towel on top of that. That would just aid in breaking down the hair or softening the hair, prepping it for the shave.
Yeah.
What I like to do is use a brushless cream, and I rub that on first, and then I'll use a hot towel and hold on top of that. So that's what I've been doing lately, and so I like combining them almost.
Okay. Con.
Especially if you have some cheap soaps lying around, like Gummy, or like someone got you a gift of brushless soap, and you're like, oh, it's brushless, I'll never use this. It's been sitting under your sink. Try it as a pre-shave soap, or try it with a hot towel. Get the most out of your.
Yeah, that's great. Con.
I would have to say a hard soap. It's a nod to yesteryear, and it's just, I love it. Just hard soaps.
Yeah, Marty.
I'd say hard as well. Triple milled's a close second, but hard soap.
Yeah, David. What? Yeah, either any of you guys on the panel, do you know what is Tabac? Is that triple milled? Is that just a hard soap? Anybody?
I know it's not triple milled. I wouldn't imagine it's triple milled because I was able to push it into a separate container fairly easy.
So it's just probably like just a soap, just a hard.
It's a hard soap.
Yeah, it was a harder. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is a very weird, hard, difficult question. I think I would have to say triple milled. I think they're a little harder to lather, but if you know how to do it, it's not that hard. You just work with it a little bit. But I just love the idea if you can have this beautiful puck of soap that's just sitting there and it lasts forever. I think that's the one cool thing about Martin de Condre. I don't own it. I actually don't really enjoy the scent of that soap, but I just love the idea that you could be using that for a whole year and barely see a dent in that product. That is awesome. So
body soaps. I think for body soaps, triple milled is the way to go.
Yeah. So guys, we have reached about a little over that hour-and-a-half mark, and I just want to say thanks to Mark for being on the show. Mantic, appreciate you being here today.
My pleasure.
Yes, thank you so much, Mark.
I'd like to
much respect, sir.
I'd like to quickly point out that how very random and small the world can be because Marty lives in the same little town in Wisconsin that I grew up in.
Yep. It's a fantastic little small world.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And how weird is it that we're all into wet shaving as a hobby and trying out all these different wonderful products and talking about it. Again,
we're all wearing pants too.
Yeah.
I mean, what's up with that? Except for David.
So, Mark, I just want to say thank you. I know you've inspired all of us in some way.
Thank you.
If guys want to find you and check out your stuff, I know we've mentioned it a couple times, but where can they go online to check you out?
Well, the YouTube channel is youtube.com/user/mantic59, and my website is sharpologist.com.
Yep. And congratulations again. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mark. It's been a real pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Con, the guy who now really can't be found because I don't even know where you are, but you're somewhere.
Yeah. Shavetheman.com.au.
Yes. And Marty?
Sorry about that. My son was talking to me.
No,
everywhere as Marty Pape or martypape.com.
And The Truth, David Gonzalez, where can people find you? Yep. And you can find me at Rico's Corner on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, VoiceBite, all those social media outlets. And Douglas, our beloved captain, where can people find you, sir?
At Phoenix. PhoenixShaving.com or CrownKingShaving.com.
And where can guys get that Australian shaving cream that you were holding up? That Vegemite.
Yeah, I think it's Vegamite.
Yeah.
This Vegamite.com.
Vegamite.com.
Oh,
And
man.
do you want to highlight the giveaway one more time? You want to mention that real quick?
Yes, folks. What do you guys think we should shout out the name of the winner on our next show?
Yes.
Or before then?
Yeah, let's
Okay,
do the
next show, folks.
Next
Thank
show,
you all for
winners
participating,
will be
too.
announced. Yeah. So, guys, thank you again. Thanks to our guests for being here. This is the Wet Shavers Roundtable. You can always tweet us at WS Roundtable if you have a question, or you can be a part of the conversation on YouTube directly. And also go to wetshavingtv.xyz and hit send, and it's a pre-populated tweet that will tell people that you're watching our show. Again, thanks for being here. We enjoy talking about shaving, answering people's questions, and talking to our guests. So everybody, thanks for being there, and we'll talk to you later. See ya.
High five.